what's up, guys? Welcome back. Thanks for clicking, thanks for hanging out. Hey, listen, today I got you on the GoPro. It's gonna be a little bit of GoPro footage today. Sun's out, clear sunny day. The wind's ripping kind of hard, but nonetheless, I know the Sony, that DSLR, the mirrorless camera looks a whole lot better, but sometimes lugging that thing around is it's kind of a pain. And it's, when you got like super tight spaces and stuff like that, it's kind of like I said, it's kind of a pain. For those of you that know, I moved from my OJ, my 2019 Camaro SS1LE, and I bought this 2022, sorry, ZL1. For those of you that don't know, I was forced to buy a ZL1. I could not get an allocation. I could put an order in, but I could not get an allocation for a ZL1 1LE. Do I regret it? It is what it is. But the more and more time goes on, kind of thankful things worked out the way they did. It's just gonna cost me a little bit of money. So, different video, different day. Today's video, the one best thing I love about this car, the single best thing, and no, it's not the horsepower. Horsepower is cool, but it's relevant, and you can put horsepower in anything. Got a plane overhead. I don't know how well the mic's gonna pick this up. Maybe the GoPro will freaking weed that out. Maybe it won't, I don't know. We'll see. The one best thing, the single best thing that this car, I found out after owning this car for a couple months now. No, it's not gonna until I start it. But I've said it before, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys aren't gonna be surprised when I say it's the weight. The weight is the single best thing I love about this car. And the weight works in this favor, and it kind of changes my perspective about a Hellcat. Now, I don't like the way Dodge goes about building a car, as far as like some of the things that cost too much money to change, as far as to keep up and compete with the ZL1. Power, like I said, power is relative, and you can put it in anything. But the way that the foundation, it's like building a house. If you got a crap ass foundation, it doesn't matter what the rest of it's like, it's probably not gonna last too long. It's built on just a shitty base. That's where I think the GM shines in this category. With the ELSD, the magnetic ride, the Alpha chassis, you just can't beat it. Now, I wish that this chassis was made out of composite, but nothing lasts forever. I know that steel rusts, and I wish that the composite, I wish that, they would at least done that like a SMC. I'm not asking for a complete car made out of carbon fiber. Hey, speed core, but I digress. So, the single best thing I love about this car is the weight. Now, you think that, my SS1LE was 3,650 pounds, and you think moving to ZL1, which is, they say 3,903 for mine, the coupe stick, 3,903 is the curb weight on this car. And everything's gonna vary. Is that a full tank of gas? Is that, what I mean? Blah, blah. There's a lot of things, there's a lot of variables that, can attribute to that. Everybody thinks that it is the supercharger that is gonna add the weight. That's not it. I wanted to make this video a couple weeks ago, and I was looking and doing my research and trying to find. Everything I came up with showed, the numbers were a little bit off, but the LT1 versus the LT4, it's showing that the LT1 is actually heavier than the LT4. Now I can't help but to think, some of the castings, I know that, we've got like all forged internals, but they're forged aluminum. I can't help but think that maybe since this thing's running a 10-to-1 compression ratio from the factory, and the LT1's running a 11-to-1 compression ratio from the factory, I can't help but think that the rotating assembly might be heavier inside the LT1, but it's not by much. It's like 50 pounds, you know what I mean? So I came up with, I found one place that had all the, specs in one spot, both motors. You can take this person's research data versus this person's research data. It's unrealistic to think that any of us, well, unless you have like a shop or something that is gonna have a motor out to be able to actually put these things physically on a scale. We kind of have to take, you know, other researchers' word for it. Now, I mean, you can throw any kind of number out there, but if you've had enough experience around the automotive world, you can kind of tell what's realistic, what's not. Now, understand how they went about getting their information. And they did, I highlighted it here. I'll show you that how they spent over like 2 days compiling all this data from Chevrolet. So, like I said, these numbers might vary a little bit, plus or minus a few pounds, but I'm betting that they're going to be very, very accurate. If you scroll down, it does show the code of the motor, fully dressed weight, the long block weight, you know, minus everything that's ready to run, and then just a short block, which is just the heads, or I'm sorry, the block, rotating assembly, minus oil pan, minus the heads, you know, so on and so forth. So anyways, further down it goes on to say that your LT1 is 575 pounds. That's the only weight I'm gonna go with, ready to drop in the car, because that's what's relative to this video. It's 575 pounds versus 529 pounds. Now, that's a lot, it's a big difference. You know, in the scheme of things like 4,000 pounds, you know, you're talking 1/8 of the weight of the total vehicle. And when you're talking 2/3 of an engine, different in weight from the SS1LE to the ZL1, you can kind of see how you're gonna feel it. I mean, when you're talking 2/3 of another supercharged V8 engine in the car, and this is gonna be sprung weight on the chassis. A little bit of it's unsprung because I did find out that the brake rotors are they're a little bit bigger. But I'm telling you, I've driven both cars, I've owned both cars. The braking is very, very similar. Maybe the braking is a little bit better in the SS1LE. You know, heft is a pretty cool thing, and I'm figuring out that it's, you know, I really wouldn't count the Hellcat out. If you could get like a better chassis, maybe like some sway bars, a real good static coilover setup, I wouldn't count that car out. I mean, I'm just saying that 8-speed seems to be ripping gears pretty quickly, and you know, you can still get a scat pack in a manual. That car is going to be 4,400 pounds, which is, you know, 400 pounds even heavier. Now, is even heavier going to, you know, make it better? I don't know, because I mean, the physical dimensions of the car are bigger, so I would imagine I don't really see it get any better, any worse in theory. But my SS1LE, and those of you that can attest to this on the supercar 3s, when you get a lot of bite and you're approaching like 1 G-force in the corners, you can feel the car, and the best word I can use to describe that feeling is springy. And you can feel like the whole car, all that kinetic energy in the chassis just wadding up around the corner. It's something that you have to experience in order to actually get a feel for it and understand what I'm talking about. But those of you that have owned the car, chime in here, because that's going to be the one best thing I found out about this car, the supercar 3s. And I really didn't like the tire because of the way it handled in the rain, but the extra weight on this car, I think helped it out, because in the rain it's very, very controllable. You have a lot of traction. I don't know if they changed the compound in the tire or not, but I can't see them doing that without advertising it or marketing that. It's just a lot better handling of a car. I know that the front end is wider. The track difference could be part of it, but I'm telling you, those of you that go from an SS1LE to a ZL1, and forever, the longest time, I always claimed that this car was the same as an SS1LE, you know, and I always said that if you wanted this regular ZL1 instead of a ZL1 1LE, just buy the SS1LE and like pro charge it or something. But this car is turning out to be in ways more different than I thought, and I can make another video on that later on down the road. But today's video, the weight, I think currently the supercar 3 is the best tire the best performing tire, I'm gonna say that you can buy for the ZL1 on the 20-inch stock wheel, you know, minus the radial, minus the drag radial. And I know there's gonna be people that are throwing their hands up in the air, rolling their fucking eyes, and just saying, you know, you're a liar, this isn't true, blah blah. And I can hear it coming in the comments already, but you're wrong. And I'm telling you that Supercar 3 was actually made for this car. It was made for the 6th generation Camaro, the compound, and I can kind of see the benefits of it now, because if you, here, I'll turn the car on. I'll just rotate the steer here real quick. Yep, gotcha. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this chrome start engine, stop engine button, I think that's the only thing in this whole interior that is ZL1 specific. I'm not sure, I'm not 100% on that, but I think I'm right. As far as I'm aware, that button right there, that is specific to this model of car. So let's get out here. Like I said, the wind's ripping, so I'm gonna try to keep the camera low, but here, I'm gonna show you this Supercar 3, and you'll also notice there's no direction to it. Now, what does that mean as far as like the direction and stuff, you know? Because, you know, you think, what does that even matter? Because, you know, if it's not directional, then, you know, you think that most performance or high performance tires would be like a directional only, you know, to get the maximum grip. We got to have this, we got to have that. But that's not the case, because in the front, get the hood popped here. In the front of these tires, because there's no directional pattern, you can actually cross rotate these tires. So I can take the left, here, let me get you out of the wind. I can take the left and put it on the right. I can take the right and put it on the left. I can cross rotate these tires, get a lot more life out of them, and it's gonna grip just the same. So you can do the same with the rear to try to increase the longevity of the life of the tire. I got the hood popped because I want to show you. Now in that, it says that the LT1 is actually heavier, but the LT4 is 1 inch taller. So it's going to be 1 inch taller because of the supercharger lid. Now in the 15 and 16 Corvette, they had the short lid and had a ton of heat problems because the cooling bricks weren't big enough. They still have a lot of heat problems, and this thing gets heat soaked so much. That's why I have the methanol injection kit. I have a Alky meth kit, and that's where they're saying that the 1 inch height difference is right there. So as far as like if you were going to look at an LT1 versus an LT4, that's going to be it. The packaging on this engine, I mean, you can see the ground. You see that gravel down there? It's absolutely crazy. I don't know, you know, you got the, you can see a little bit of daylight. You got these cooling hoses right here. As far as like packaging and stuff goes, this engine is it's set in here very tightly. So let's go for a drive. I'll show you. I mean, you can sit here and talk about it, but even through, you know, POV driving and whatever, I got a feeling that, you know, people with the, like the Camaro SS, the SS1LE, those are going to be like really the only guys that are going to be able to feel the difference or kind of see the difference, the gear spread and everything. So I'll do my best, but I'm going to shut up. There's going to be no music. I'll roll down the windows. We'll go for a drive. Understand the wind's ripping, but I think once we get up to speed, that's not going to matter. But other than that, you'll be able to see the weight transfer, how you're able to push the car. I'll try to find some roads which we can, you know, find some pretty gnarly corners. But other than that, like the video, guys. We only got a couple more to go, and then we're gonna hit 1K. So as soon as this channel starts producing money, we can really turn the wick up on this car. But you know, that's a different era for you know, it'll probably be next year or whatever. But listen, let's just get this POV driving on. I hope you guys enjoy the footage. Don't forget to subscribe, share the video, like the video, drop a like. And if I don't talk to you guys until then, have an awesome day. I hope you're having an awesome day already. Take care, and I will see you guys on the next video. Let's get after this.